Good day, Corporators. Thank you for sharing your time and talent with our parish communities. This presentation is designed to give you some helpful information related to human resources. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions regarding this presentation, please contact me, Molly Fern, Training Manager, either by calling 410-547-5338 or sending me an email. My email address is mfern@archbolt.org. All lowercase mfern@archbalt.org. Thank you. I hope you enjoy this presentation. The Human Resources team and you, as parish corporators, share a common goal: to prevent civil legal problems in our parishes. As corporators, you are the watchdogs that ask questions and alert others when risk becomes evident. Thank you for your willingness to provide oversight and to ensure that our parish communities are compliant with both civil law and church teaching. Human Resources provides policies and procedures to help our parishes stay out of hot water. For example, applicants for employment must be thoroughly screened and assessed prior to being hired. An application must be completed, fingerprinting must be done for both a state and FBI criminal background check, child protection training must be completed, and 3 professional references must be checked. These procedures ensure parishes avoid hiring an unqualified or unsuitable applicant. Parishes are individual employers and therefore must follow state and federal employment laws. Employees are protected by laws such as the Fair Labor Standards Act to ensure they are paid properly and given fair treatment in their workplace. The Archdiocese also ensures fair treatment of parish employees by implementing parish practices such as having all parishes abide by the Family Medical Leave Act, regardless of whether the parish has 15 employees or fewer. If we abided by the letter of the Family Medical Leave Act, we would only require parishes employing 15 or more people to be complying with that act. All employees and volunteers are required to take an online training course to obtain a basic understanding of the signs of child abuse, how to prevent child abuse, and how to properly report child abuse. Volunteers are also screened to ensure that they too are able to perform their roles and will not present undue risks to the parish. Volunteers must complete an application, have 3 references checked, and complete child protection training. If a volunteer is acting in a regular employee role, that volunteer may also have to follow the procedures for employment. For example, if a volunteer is leading the children's ministry, he or she would need to be fingerprinted to check his or her criminal history. A parish certainly wouldn't want to risk having a volunteer who was convicted of child abuse leading the children's ministry. As corporators, you can ask questions to ensure the practices and procedures for hiring and supervising employees and volunteers are fair, legal, moral, and in compliance with the Archdiocesan rules and regulations. As Archbishop Laurie has stated in our Archdiocesan Pastoral Plan prayer, may we never lose sight of our sacred mission to go and make disciples of all nations. Employees play a vital role in accomplishing our mission and therefore should be knowledgeable, skilled, and able to support our mission. When seeking an employee, parishes are welcome to get job descriptions, interview questions, and reference checking assistance from the Human Resources team. Asking all applicants the same set of questions ensures a thorough and fair assessment and eliminates the possibility of asking discriminatory questions like, "Are you married?" or "How old are you?" These types of questions could lead you to a discrimination charge. Human Resources can also provide information about locations for fingerprinting and information related to obtaining an applicant's state and FBI criminal history. Human Resources is there to support our parishes, so please take advantage of their service. As you interact with employees and volunteers, you'll get to know which folks seem to be the most competent in their roles. Human Resources is always ready to support parishes by providing training resources and guidance on supervision. We have two employee relations managers, Regina McCurdy and Connie Vagran, who stand ready to help parish employees reach their full potential. Regina and Connie can assist with goal setting, performance evaluation, documentation of employee performance, and if necessary, discipline and termination. Our parish leaders manage a complicated operation, and Human Resources wants to support their efforts, whether it's writing a job description or documenting unbecoming conduct. Human Resources can help our pastors, business managers, and ministry leaders in a myriad of ways. Parishes need to abide by the Fair Labor Standards Act, or FLSA, as we HR folks like to call it. The FLSA classifies jobs into two categories, exempt and non-exempt. Exempt employees are exempt from being paid overtime. Non-exempt employees are not exempt from being paid overtime. When filling positions, it's important to classify these employees correctly, since non-exempt employees must be paid for all time worked and are eligible for overtime if working over 40 hours in a week. Human Resources can assist with classifying positions exempt or non-exempt. FLSA also prohibits delayed pay. So even, for example, if an employee were to walk off the job and not continue to work the full day, he or she is due pay for hours worked. Pay deductions for taxes and FICA are required by law. Deductions for purposes such as retirement savings must be authorized by the employee. If you have concerns regarding pay, please contact the Human Resources Management System team for guidance. This team includes payroll specialists who can often resolve problems right over the phone. When employing minors, parishes have to pay attention to the number of hours worked each day. Minors must be at least 14 years of age and must have a work permit on file with the employer signed by a parent or guardian. A minor who is 14 or 15 years of age can only work up to 4 hours on any school day. A minor aged 16 or 17 can spend only 12 hours in both school and work combined each day. There are several jobs which minors are prohibited from working, such as meat cutting and mining work. Parishes can get a wealth of information about employing minors from the Department of Labor, Licensing, and Regulation, Maryland's DLLR. The website address is www.dllr.state.md.us/labor/minor-factsheet.pdf. Human Resources is also happy to answer any questions related to employing minors. The church is all-inclusive. We are all God's children, and the same rule applies when employing church workers. We don't want to discriminate against any protected class when considering applicants or working with our current employees. The law prohibits making employment decisions or engaging in unfair treatment of any employee because of his or her race, color, gender, pregnancy, sexual orientation, gender identity, marital status, or genetic information. And this is just to name some of the protected classes that we have to be on the lookout for. Our next slide shows us even more protected classes to be aware of. Our parishes also cannot discriminate in hiring or treatment of any current employee due to his or her age. They're referring to folks 40 and over, ancestry, national origin, or disability. Because we are a church organization, we are allowed to seek and prefer to hire Catholics for our positions. And we're allowed to require that someone be a practicing Catholic for a position in which it would be a bona fide occupational qualification. For example, a director of religious education would need to be a practicing Catholic in order to model the faith as a minister in the church. Therefore, for a director of religious education, being Catholic is a bona fide occupational qualification. For a maintenance worker in a parish, we certainly could prefer to hire a Catholic, but we wouldn't consider it a bona fide occupational qualification to be Catholic in order to perform that job. Parishes want to be careful to not classify employees as independent contractors. Most church positions will require the parish to employ the person and have control over his or her work. If an employee is treated like an independent contractor and no taxes are withheld, it could lead to huge tax penalties for both the employee and the parish. Classifying employees as exempt to avoid paying overtime hours can also lead to huge penalties and back pay awards. Please feel free to direct pastors or business managers to contact Human Resources if they need assistance in classifying employees or in negotiating a contract with an independent contractor. In many cases, employees working in our parishes are non-exempt and therefore eligible for overtime. And in many cases, they are employees and not independent contractors because we're indicating when they should work, the type of work they should perform, and how to prioritize that work. So we're really controlling the work, and therefore they're not really qualifying as independent contractors. So feel free to direct folks to contact Human Resources for advice in this area. We certainly can all agree that abuse should never happen in our parishes. To prevent abusers from getting access to our communities, we have applications, references, criminal background checks, and training through Virtus. All these procedures are in place to prevent abuse. If abuse does occur or is even suspected, it is against the law not to report those facts or suspicions to civil authorities, such as the police or Child Protective Services. It is also required to report those facts or suspicions to the Office of Child and Youth Protection in the Archdiocese of Baltimore. We want to do everything we can to protect vulnerable populations in our schools and parishes. All employees and volunteers are required to read the Statement of Policy for the Protection of Children and Youth and the Code of Conduct for Church Personnel when they begin working in the parish. As corporators, you are to ensure that these documents are available for all employees and volunteers. These documents detail our expected standards of conduct. We cannot hold our employees and volunteers accountable for conduct they are unaware of. So please have them available and recommend review of these documents periodically. Human Resources suggests an at least annual review of these documents by all staff and volunteers. Volunteers hold key roles in our parishes and therefore must be held to high standards. The Virtus or STAND training is required for all volunteers, even those who don't have substantial contact with children. Volunteer misconduct, like employee misconduct, must be addressed in a timely manner. Human Resources can assist in addressing volunteer issues and misconduct. Please feel free to contact us at any time if you have volunteer issues that need to be resolved. The Human Resources team assigned to support parishes and schools is listed on the screen. My contact information has already been given to you, so I didn't include my information. Thank you for your time and dedication to the mission of our parishes. You are helping our parishes to grow and improve. Thank you for being such staunch defenders of the faith.